Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our first yoga class. Well, I guess it's not really the first. It's probably, I guess, our second, because yesterday we had a little yoga class of 2022. Welcome to our slow flow class. We are going to start today on our bolster, maybe on a little bit of a ramp. You are going to need a yoga block and two yoga blocks if you have them, and maybe a blanket just to, we are going to go into a little kneeling lunge today. So something that you can maybe pad your knees with. So if you'd like to, we're going to go ahead and lie ourselves down on our bolster. If you don't have a bolster at home, no worries. You can take a blanket, you can lie directly on the ground. You do have one, maybe scooch up towards the base of the sacrum, towards the end of the bolster. Just go ahead and lie your spine down. And you can adjust the height of the bolster if you want it a little higher, maybe take a second yoga block underneath. And if you'd like to today, and this is really going to depend on what feels good for your back, you can perhaps come into a Supine Badakanasana, a reclined butterfly pose. So the soles of the feet together, the knees wide. And just come to this space, finding a bit of comfort. Maybe make some adjustments to the spine, make some adjustments to the hands, just kind of finding your spot here. And just allow the knees, if you are in Supine Badakanasana, maybe allow the knees to drift down to the side. If it doesn't feel comfortable for your legs to be open here, feel free to maybe bend the knees and set the feet down to the floor and just find a bent knee position or extend the legs. Just kind of tune in to what feels right for your body today. And as we take a moment here just to settle in with our breath, settle in with our body. Let's take a moment to bring ourselves to the mat. Bringing awareness to the space around us. Kind of checking in with yourself, checking in with where are you at today? You coming to the mat with maybe some thoughts that are not serving you or stressors. Can you just imagine that those things, the moment you step onto your mat, kind of drift away out to sea? They're still kind of going to hang around. They might be there when you come back off the mat. But just recognize that they don't need to be with you all the time. They don't need to be part of your journey. And we can let those thoughts or feelings be there, but we can allow ourselves to be the observer of those thoughts. And reminding ourselves that we are not those thoughts. We are not those feelings of anxiety or stress. Maybe you start to notice the breath and its expanding quality of entering the body, entering the ribs, entering the belly. Maybe you notice that releasing quality as you breathe out and let your body feel a little heavier. Maybe your eyes soften, your jaw softens. And just notice areas that might still be holding on physically to a bit of tension. Maybe specifically begin with the space between the brow. See if that space between the brow can just drift away and kind of melt down towards the earth. Maybe your eyes or your cheeks are still kind of clenching or holding on to something. Maybe you can let those areas of the body just soften. Maybe your shoulders are still kind of rounding forward. See if you can invite that quality of expansion through the clavicles by letting the shoulders drift down and down towards the earth. Now, as we're beginning a new leaf, a new year, new goals, new beginnings, new opportunities, it's really powerful to set an intention, a sankalpa, at the beginning of a year. It's almost like we kind of turn the page. We kind of let the stories that were kind of drift behind in the background. And we open up a new page with an unwritten story. It's a blank page. And with this, in our case, is our new year. We've been able to turn the leaf. And maybe we take this opportunity to set a sankalpa, to set an intention. It could be something that you've had before. Could be something you're going to reapproach or invite in, a new opportunity. So let's take a moment just to think about what our sankalpa could be. And there could be multiple sankalpas. It doesn't have to be one, but just for this practice right now, let's set one sankalpa, something you'd like to kind of have in your back pocket. Now from here, let's begin to deepen the breath. And I'd like you to sigh out the breath. And I want you to imagine that that sigh is one that's releasing old thoughts of things that are things we need to let go of, things we can just allow ourselves to release. So maybe taking that deep breath in and then imagining and feeling that release of thoughts that have not served us, release from the body. And maybe you take one more deep breath, one last one. And if you have been in our Supta Badakanasana, maybe you'll take the hands to the outer edges of the thighs and just slowly start to bring the knees towards center. Setting the feet down to the floor, maybe bring the inner thighs towards one another. Maybe extend the arms out to a strong T. And we're just going to gently rock our body side to side. And really just allow yourself to kind of massage the spine, maybe massage the upper part of the hips. Just gently swaying from side to side, keeping the arms open and expansive, the chest full of opportunity, the heart space open to receive. Kind of finding this beautiful kind of gentle flow from one to the other. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, come back in towards center. And we're going to come into constructive rest pose. So feet wide, knees knocked together. This is just such a great way to release the hips. And let's go ahead and swim our arms up towards the sky. So shoulder height, we're going to breathe in. And then swim the arms back and expand through the chest. Now, if we're taking care of our shoulders today, maybe we're taking really small, slow circles. Just kind of exploring. Maybe you're not even moving the arms, but giving your shoulders some shoulder shrugs, some kind of rotations back and down, like we would do if we were standing, kind of lifting the shoulders towards the ears and rolling them back. So really kind of assess what's the right move for you right now. What feels appropriate for your body. Maybe you do those gentle shoulder shrugs and pull the shoulders up towards the ears. Maybe you're doing these wide, expansive circles, feeling the opening of the chest, the underarms, the movement of the shoulder girdle. And you're just breathing, keeping that breath really at the forefront of that connection between body, mind, spirit, that life force. And when you're ready, we're going to reverse our circle. If you are doing some arm circles with the arms, let's go ahead and reverse the direction. If you're doing the shoulder shrugs, you'll reverse that direction as well. Maybe take it forward and then back. And again, shoulder shrugs can be really small in nature. They don't have to be big. They don't have to be expansive. Just evaluate what's the best thing for you. Making that right decision for now, at this moment. Let's go ahead and let's do a couple more. And then I'd like us all to meet with our arms up towards the sky, if that feels okay. So with our fingertips resting towards the sky, the arms are released, the shoulders are released down from away from the ears. And then from here, take those arms out to a strong T. And we're just gonna open the chest area here. My left arm is kind of touching the wall, unfortunately, but for your, hopefully your space is a little bit more broader, a little bit more clear, and just allowing the heart to expand. Letting the chest kind of widen from shoulder to shoulder. Taking a couple of deep breaths, and as you exhale, just let this chest just soften. See if you can release any tension here. Just finding that gentle beat of your heart. Let's go ahead and we'll slowly slide the hands towards the side of our body. And let's take 3 big clearing breaths here, breathing into the belly and just sighing out of the mouth. Releasing the shoulders, the heart. Beautiful. And then when we're ready, we're going to toe heel the feet closer to center. And as carefully as we can, maybe we're going to shift our pelvis a little bit over to the left or the right. And we're just going to roll onto our sides and come up and off the bolster. We'll just set our bolster to the side, maybe take our yoga blocks. We're going to come and just set our yoga blocks kind of nearby because we're going to need them shortly. Maybe set them just at the side here. We're going to come onto all fours. So taking, as I mentioned in our warm-up, I have a little bump on my knee, so I'm going to take my blanket just so it's a little bit more comfortable for my knees. Maybe you want to do the same. You don't have to. Just finding what works for you. Hands are shoulder distance apart, knees are hip distance apart, and we're going to take our tops of our feet and just gently press them down towards the floor. And from here, with a nice lifting of the back of the head. So just imagine you've got a little plumb line right at the back of the crown, lifting your head right up on top of those shoulders, hands pressing down to the floor, a beautiful kind of support of the shoulders here. And from here, we're going to just take our right ear towards our right hip, opening up the left side of the body. Pulling up in through the core, so just keeping that awareness of the body, of the torso, opening up and expanding through the left ribs, and then coming back through center, and then bringing the left ear over to the left hip, expanding the right rib cage. And then back through center, and just kind of flowing here a few more times. And as you're doing so, keeping your hips pretty glued in space. So not trying to hike the hip up to meet your ear, but rather take the ear over to the hip. Just kind of expanding the ribs, especially after a night of sleep where kind of a little less mobile through the torso, just kind of giving that nice little side stretch here. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and do one more. I said a few and then probably did about 7 or 8. And then come right back in when you're ready towards center. And go ahead and start just swaying the hips side to side. It's like a little kind of movement through the hips here, kind of releasing any kind of low back tension. Still feeling very connected in through the hands and the shoulders. And if for whatever reason, too much pressure into the hands starts to fatigue the hands, take the blocks. Raise yourself, release a little bit of that weight. And just go ahead and continue to sway in through the hips. Beautiful. And then whenever you're ready, make our way just back in through center. You can keep your hands here with the back nice and long. We're going to just do some gentle cat-cows. So breathing in, letting the belly drop, opening up the heart. Exhale, pull the belly in, round through the spine. And the first few cat-cows for me are a little bit more restricted sometimes, especially my low back being early in the morning. So approach this with just some gentleness. We'll come back to cat-cows a little later and just kind of see how it feels after we've moved our body a little bit more and had some opportunity to create some fluidity and some release in the muscles. So if you're feeling like, the range isn't quite there, that's okay. Remember, it's a step-to-step process. We just kind of check in with the body. How's it feeling now? And it'll feel different later. Good. Well, let's go ahead and finish one more cat, one more cow. And then whenever you're ready, we'll come right back into that tabletop position. And we're going to move into our spinal balances. So with that right hand nicely grounded, left foot grounded down to the floor, knee pressing into the floor as well. Core is engaged. We'll breathe and extend the right arm, the right leg and left arm. Pulling up through the core, lengthen that body. Keep the head stacked onto the top of the spine. And then exhale, release, right leg, left arm. Breathe in, expand the body. And I want you to imagine you've got this nice long line from fingertip to toe, and then release. And let's just flow here. As you're moving, slow the pace down, especially if it feels a little like a wavy palm tree. Take that moment to center your intention, your focus, your drishti point. Notice how just taking a moment of pause can really be impactful on balance, on focus, on sensation in the body, on connection to the body, really having that opportunity to listen. So often we're focused on kind of just moving the body, kind of getting that body strong. But we lose that opportunity to really evaluate with that compassion for ourselves. What feels right for me? Am I forcing the body in a place that's just not where I need to be right now? Or maybe I can take it a little more. That always can be the case too, right? Sometimes we set ourselves up with these limiting beliefs that, oh, this is where I can go. Because I've told myself that so many times, right? I know we've all done it. But then we take ourselves out of that box. And suddenly we're like, oh, that's news to me. So just evaluate that. Just kind of notice, take that moment of pause, and whether it's in this pose or something else or something you do in your day. Just take a moment. Let's go ahead and do one more on either side. Make sure you're even. So if you need to do an extra one, just go ahead and do that. And then whenever you're ready, we'll go ahead and bring ourselves into child's pose. So let's meet in child's pose. Maybe extended child's pose today. Or if we're taking care of our shoulders, maybe not. We're going to bring our shoulders, our elbows in a little bit closer to center. Now from here, I'd like you to explore the back of the body. Breathing in through the nose, down the spine, expanding the rib cage. As you release the low back here, as you take that exhale, let the low back kind of drift down towards your heels. Let the hips release. And again, I'm coming to this from an early morning body, so hips are still feeling a little bit like they're not quite awake yet. So we're going to just come to this with that gentle softness, that quality of release, that letting go. Wonderful. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and just do one little side bend here. So we're going to take our hands over to the left side of our mat. Right hand is going to expand, and I'd like you to take that right arm and just gently drag it a little bit more forward of the left, but keep the right hip releasing down towards the heel. Here you might feel that latissimus dorsi stretching. You might feel the upper part of the hip, the ribs, the shoulder. Now, if bringing that arm a little forward is just not where we need to be, but you're just bringing that elbow in a little bit closer, I want you to still imagine and press down through that right hip. See how even just by bending the arm a little closer, if it doesn't feel good to reach the arm, you still have that opportunity to release the latissimus dorsi and all that muscle area on the side of the body. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and walk our hands towards center and then over to the right side, taking the left arm 1 or so inches further of the right, sorry. Same idea, keep the hip down. Keep that expansive quality of the breath entering the body. And then when you're ready, come back through center. Press the hips down, maybe press the hands into the floor, give that low back one little extra bit of love. And then let's go ahead and make our way into our all fours. We're going to transition to a standing position. So however you want to do that, we're also going to take our yoga blocks and set them to the side. So you just want to kind of curl up onto the toes. I'm going to actually keep my blanket right there because we're going to need it shortly. I'm going to need it shortly as we come into our kneeling lunge. And then we're going to make our way to the top of our mat and kind of come between the yoga blocks here. So what I've done is I've placed my yoga blocks on either side of my block here. And I'm actually going to bring them to the high point here. And I'm going to walk myself a little bit forward so that I'm kind of right between the yoga blocks here, bringing my feet hip distance apart. I'm actually going to just slightly adjust my mat so I can extend my arms. Hopefully you can see me still. Good. All right. So with our body nice and tall here, just going to take a moment to readjust our positioning of our feet. Maybe keep that connection of the ball of the feet and the heels pressing down to the floor, lengthening through the spine. Let's just take a nice big inhale, reaching the arms overhead. And then exhale, release the arms, kind of release the shoulders. Again, if you don't want to reach the arms overhead, if that just doesn't feel right for you, just take a breath. Just take that breath in and out. Beautiful. And breathe in. And breathe out. Beautiful. Let's do one more, and we're going to reach our arms overhead, breathing in. Grab hold of that left wrist and gently guide it over to the right as you breathe out. Breathing in through center, take that right wrist over to the left. And one more time, breathe in, left wrist over to the right. Guide it with that hand. Breathe in through center, right wrist over to the left. Give it a little tug, open up the side body. Inhale, reach the body long, extend through the spine. Bend the elbows, find a gentle cactus or goalpost arms as we find a gentle extension here. Pull up through the core, press the feet into the floor. I want to feel really nice and grounded through the feet. Even go ahead and imagine you're pressing the feet apart from one another. Beautiful. Breathe in, reach the arms overhead. Exhale, swim the arms down, coming into a half bent over position. So almost as if you're coming into a chair, you're going to bend into the hips. Your hands are going to rest at your thighs. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to breathe in, arch the back, open up the heart, as if you're coming into a little bit of a cow position. And then as you exhale, round the spine and let your body kind of come down forward, maybe even resting the hands on the yoga blocks. And then breathe in, let the hands come back to the thighs, find that extension, tail feathers up to the sky. Exhale, round the spine, let your body kind of hang forward, maybe even come down into almost what feels like a crouch position. Breathe in, come back to the hands, to the thighs, open up the heart, shoulders roll back, open up. Exhale, pull the belly in, round through the spine. Let the body come down. Feel that opening the low back here. One more time because I just want to get one more in. Find that extension, shoulders roll back. Exhale, pull it in, round through the spine. Let your body just come into this beautiful hanging over position. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and bend into the knees and we'll sweep the arms, press the feet into the floor, reach the arms tall, expand the body overhead. This time, let that right arm drift down to the right side. Find that gentle side body expansion. Here, I want you to, again, find that lift through the core. Inhale, take the right arm up. Exhale, let the left arm drift. Find that little side bend here. Notice if there's a little more opening, a little more opportunity. Again, don't force it. Find that space that works for you. Inhale, reach up, both arms extend. Exhale, sweep the hands back down. Come all the way to the blocks. Find your half arch or set your hands maybe onto the shins or right above the thighs, whatever feels right for you, finding that long body. Take a breath here. Exhale, release down into that forward fold. Maybe bend the knees, coming back to where we were earlier. Inhale, find your half arch, lengthen the spine, maybe lengthen the legs. Pull the core in. Exhale, release, let the body hang, let the shoulders hang. Beautiful. Inhale, come into your half arch, lengthen the legs. Exhale, last one, forward fold. Beautiful. Keep your hands on the blocks. Let's go ahead and take that right foot back. And we're going to come first into this low lunge here. And as we come into the low lunge, we're going to find that long back, really press into that right heel. Give the back of the legs a little bit of a length, a little bit of room. And then whenever you're ready, go ahead and set that right knee down. Maybe you leave the hands on the blocks as you just gently lean into this hip opener. Just kind of see what feels right for you. Pull up through the spine. Lift the back of the head. So I want you to keep that head kind of stacked on top of the shoulders. Let the right hip just open up nice and easy here. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and press into that left foot and extend the legs. Flex to the feet. Find that little hamstring kind of opening up here. That sensation in the back of the legs. And then go ahead and bend into that left knee. Open up the hip. And then one more time, coming into that hamstring. Reaching back. And then kneeling forward one last time. And maybe on this one, again, totally optional, we can stay here and just kind of ease ourselves a little deeper into that right hip. Or we can release the hands, maybe to the thighs, come up a little taller. Notice how that feels in the right hip. Maybe you take the arms up. Maybe not. Maybe you cactus the arms. Again, maybe not. Maybe you find a little expansion. Again, this is all up to you. Kind of evaluate. One can feel much better than the other. So just explore, be curious. And then go ahead and release both hands down to the yoga blocks. We're going to curl those right toes under. Lift that right knee up. Find that low lunge here. Beautiful. And then we're going to take that left foot and bring it a little closer to center, and then take that right foot coming back towards the top of our mat. Maybe shift the blocks, open up the feet, maybe as wide as the hips, and go ahead and find our forward fold. From here, let's take a half arch, lengthen through the spine using the blocks or the hands on the shins. Exhale, release down. Inhale, bend the knees, sweep the arms all the way tall. And then as you exhale, bring the hands back down. Let them meet your thighs one more time. And you're going to come into that kind of pseudo chair pose that we did earlier. We're going to breathe in, let the heart expand, find that expansion, pull the belly in, open up the heart. Exhale, round through the spine, release your body forward. Let the arms either release down to the block. Breathe in, come and meet the thighs, open up into an extension. Breathe out, bend into that belly, round into the spine, bend into the knees, release the head. One last time, find that extension, open up the heart, really gentle here. See if there's a bit more room. Exhale, round forward. Let your body just kind of hang here. Beautiful. Inhale, come back into that half arch position. We're going to reset that right foot to center and take the left foot back this time. Bring the blocks with you. You can always go down to the floor. This is entirely optional. I like the blocks because it gives that lift to meet my body meeting the earth. I just find it a bit more comfortable. So take that moment here to really reach through that left heel, lengthen through the spine, finding that low lunge. This is a really powerful and strengthening pose. So feel the working of the quads in the front, the glutes in the back of the body. And then if you're ready, go ahead and set your left knee down, finding that kneeling lunge. Just shift my blanket over a little. Beautiful. Again, just coming into this spot, this time easing into that left hip, opening up the side of the body, shoulders are rolling back, you're nice and tall here. Oh, just take a breath. Beautiful. And then go ahead and press into that right foot and open up the hamstrings, kind of inviting them to the party. Let's take a moment. The blocks are such a great way to keep the back nice and long. And then go ahead and walk the hands forward, opening up the left hip, releasing the hip forward. And go ahead and press one last time into that hamstring, flexing into the toes, kind of easing into it with so much softness. And then coming back one last time. And again, you could stay there a little longer, just explore, be curious. Maybe you take the hands to the thighs and gently lift yourself up into that tall position. Again, this could be where we're at today, all good. Maybe we take our arms up to the sky. Maybe this is where we're at today. Or maybe we explore with a little chest expansion, really finding a little bit of that opening. Beautiful. Breathe in, reach the arms. Breathe out, meet them back to the yoga blocks. Curl the left toes under. We're going to lift that left knee up, find that low lunge. Open up, really reach into that heel. Give those hips a nice little bit of extra love. And then whenever you're ready, we'll go ahead and press into that right foot. Bring that left foot back, forward fold. Finding those blocks maybe a little bit forward of the feet. Maybe open up the feet so you have a little bit of room here to explore the low back here. So when we open up our feet, we give our low back a little bit of space, our pelvis a little bit of space. So if you are dealing with some low back things or tight hamstrings, just explore maybe widening the feet. Now from here, we're going to come into our half arch, lengthen through the spine, pull up through the belly. And then this time we're going to bend into the knees and sweep the arms all the way up. Find that reach. And then let's sit back in our chair, reaching with the arms maybe forward, maybe at our heart center, maybe at our hips, kind of finding what works for our shoulders, for our back. Inhale, extend the body long, reaching tall, and then release the hands to the side. Beautiful, fantastic. Let's bring the feet in about hip distance apart. Set the yoga blocks maybe just off to the side. You might need them a little later. And let's go ahead and we're going to find just a gentle flow here. So with the feet hip distance apart, we're going to take the right foot back and we're going to come into our warrior one. So adjusting that back foot to a 45-degree angle, front knee is stacked on top of the ankle, and we're going to reach the arms up. Again, optional. You can always rest your hands just at your heart space here, giving our arms a little bit of a break. From here, just let your body just kind of open up the hip. Now, if again, you want to make sure you don't have that tendency to keep that right hip kind of rotating back. Can you keep the hip bones facing forward? And imagine you've got two headlights on the hip bones, and they're really lighting the way for you. Now, from here, we're going to transition from warrior two to warrior, from warrior one to warrior two. So adjust the arms, extend them out, bring the feet nice in alignment with each other. If our arms are getting tired, rest them at the side, but keep that gaze still really nice and focused and forward. From here, inhale, shift forward, exhale, reverse warrior. Again, you could release the hands, set them down, you can reach them up and over. Now, we did a lot of side bends already, so just notice how it feels here. From here, we're going to swim that left arm forward and extend that front leg, and we're going to take our, my bad, I should have told you. We're going to take that yoga block and set it in front of the ankle here. And we're going to come into our triangle. Now you can absolutely set it behind you as well. If that feels a little bit better, it's up to you. From here, we're going to extend and reach the arm up towards the sky. Again, release that right hand to the hip if you want. You don't have to reach it tall. Beautiful. Now from here, using the core muscles, really taking into account the obliques job here. And we're going to pull ourselves up, bend into that front knee, and come right into that warrior two position. Beautiful. Release the arms, extend the legs, and we're going to pivot both feet so that we find ourselves at the long side of our mat. Now, if you don't have your yoga blocks, you're going to need them. So go ahead and grab them. And we're going to set them a little bit forward of our body here so that when we come into a forward fold, we can comfortably rest our hands here. I like to externally rotate my feet. It feels a bit more comfortable for me. However, you can absolutely keep your feet facing forward too. Okay, it's up to you. Toes out, heels in, whatever you want, or feet forward. From here, we're going to come to our straddle split. We're going to come forward, kick the hips slightly back, but not so much so that your bum is kicking back and you're kind of weighing into your heels, but just enough that you have that nice grip into the feet. Hips are nicely aligned with the rest of the body. And we're going to come into this forward fold with the hands resting onto the yoga block. So here we've got a nice long back here. Beautiful. Now from here, we're going to go into a twist. I'm going to switch forward because I'm slipping, but we're going to go into a gentle twist. So from here, we're going to let our left hand rest down at the left block. And if you don't want to bring the block high, you can set it to its medium height or low. We're going to twist towards the right. And just a gentle twist. Again, we can always leave the hands at the hips just to find a little opening. But I want you to see, are you weighing into that right foot? Can you kind of even your hips out here, continuing to press them through both feet without kind of shifting your hips over? Beautiful. Go ahead and bring that right hand down to the block. And we're going to go ahead and twist towards the left. Beautiful. I don't know about you, but I really get some good feedback from my inner thighs here when I go into these twists. Beautiful. Come back in through center. Now, from here, we're going to go ahead and just walk our blocks slightly forward. And we're going to almost come into a bit of a hammock here. So again, coming to a bit more of an extension, arms are outstretched. So from the perspective of the side, you'll see me kind of reaching a little bit, but my hips are kind of stacked here. And then I'm just going to let my upper body kind of release down. Kind of finding a little bit of an extension. Again, this doesn't have to happen. Maybe you just come into a forward fold. Reaching with the arms overhead might not be the best option for you. It's all up to you. So here you're going to give that back body a beautiful stretch. I can feel it right from my heel all the way down the back of my body, up through the shoulders, up through the lats. Beautiful. And now let's go ahead and walk those blocks back through center. Find that half bend, that half arch, if you will, in our straddle splits. And then we're going to release the yoga block and we're going to come to the other side of the foot. So in this case, it'll be our right foot forward, our left foot back, and we're going to adjust that back foot. So we've got that warrior one stance, and then we'll swim the arms up, coming into warrior one on the other side. And just take a moment here. Settle in with your breath, settle in with your shoulders. Just feeling this glorious opening, this opportunity. Just ground in. Then from here, let's swim the arms, adjust the back foot, warrior two, gazes forward. Again, release the arms if they're getting tired, it's okay. Let the arms and the gaze fall forward, knees tracking with the ankle. We'll take a little inhale, shift forward, exhale, reverse warrior, finding that opening of the ribs. Beautiful. And let's go ahead and swim that front arm forward, extend the front leg. We're going to come right into triangle, Trikonasana. Maybe we take our yoga block, finding our Trikonasana, our beautiful triangle pose. Again, some good energy through the inner thighs here. Feels great. And then using those obliques, we're gonna pull ourselves back in, find warrior two. And then go ahead and release the arms. And we're gonna bring that foot back to center. So on the long side of our mat, and we're gonna toe heel our feet so that we're closer towards center. We're gonna go into our balancing pose. So we're gonna be doing tree pose today. And we're gonna start with our right foot. So go ahead and ground into that right foot. And as always with balancing poses, we don't want to lock into the joints. We want to be able to be firm and grounded, but not feeling locked into it. If you need support with a wall or a chair, please use it. Go ahead and find your tree. So maybe you start at the ankle, then you open up that left hip, ground into the right. Remember, tree poses are beautiful no matter how high the tree is. It could be here, it could be here, it could be on your inner thigh. They're all beautiful. There's not one that's better than the other. So my pants are very slippy today. So what I'd like you to evaluate and kind of see is, where do you want your hands to be today? Where do you want your branches to extend out to? I challenge you to explore different options. Maybe you close your eyes for a split second and see how that changes the feeling of the tree. And then when you're ready, release the tree. Let the branches and the roots go. Beautiful. Go ahead and we'll settle into that opposite foot. Kickstand it at the heel, at the shin, whatever feels right. Open up the hip. Maybe you explore a different hand gesture for this time, whatever feels right. Maybe you explore your eyes. Maybe you close the eyes just for a moment. Find that stillness. And then go ahead and release the arms and release your tree. Beautiful. Very nice. Very, very well done. Beautiful, everyone. And we're going to make our way down to the floor. So make sure you have a yoga block. Make sure you also have anything you're going to want for your Savasana today. So maybe a blanket, maybe a pillow, maybe some socks, just so that you have it accessible. And we're going to come right down to the floor, and we're going to come into our knees to chest. So when you're ready, we'll make our way down to the floor, and however you'd like to, just bring the knees in towards your heart. Find a little bit of space for your sacrum. So take the tailbone down a little bit, pull the knees in a little bit. Maybe give the ankles a little twirl, given that we just put some weight onto the ankles. So give it a little bit of TLC here. Just kind of rotate the ankles in the opposite direction. So every little angle and every little nook and cranny gets a little bit of TLC too. Good. And then whenever you're ready, we'll come back in towards center. And let's go ahead and set our feet down to the floor, and we're in preparation for our supine twist. So with the arms extended into that strong T, opening up the heart space, we'll gently press into the heels, engage into the glutes, and shift the hips over slightly towards the left side. And then from here, we'll take the knees over towards the right. And here you may want to use your yoga block, just as a way to kind of buffer the contact between the knees and the floor if it doesn't quite feel accessible. Maybe the side of the body feels still a little bit tighter or doesn't have quite that range. Supine twists have always been really funny for me because I think I'm a little bit, still a little tight through the side of my body. Maybe you open the neck into the opposite direction, kind of turning it in the opposite way. Again, optional. Thinking of your body as kind of wringing itself out of any things that are not serving you here. Beautiful. Maybe start to lift that top leg and then meet the top leg with the bottom leg. Reset back in towards center. Send those feet into the ground. Reshift the pelvis back towards the middle of your mat. And then over to the opposite side. And then gently letting the knees kind of drift down towards the side. Again, you may need to shift your pelvis over a little more than I did, or a little less, depending on your body. Maybe you turn the neck in the opposite direction. Beautiful. And then let's go ahead and pull that right leg up and then that left leg up to meet the right. And we'll re-celebrate back in the center of our mat. Go ahead, bring your knees in towards your chest. And let's just gently rock our body side to side here. Spreading the low back, maybe even stirring the pot just a little, just to kind of get into those kind of little different areas of the low back, the hip, maybe even into the femur joint. Beautiful. Maybe reverse the direction if you're stirring the pot in one way. Good. And then when you're ready, just making your way back in towards center, setting your feet down. And let's go ahead and bring ourselves into candlestick today. And we will use our yoga block. So maybe go ahead and just use a little bit of that energy from the heels to lift your sacrum up enough so that you can set the yoga block underneath your sacrum. You can absolutely use your bolster too. It's whatever feels most comfortable. Your bolster is actually quite nice. And then from here, we'll pull one knee in and then the other, and then go ahead and extend the legs up to the sky. So I like to kind of just reevaluate when I'm here, maybe finding a little bit more positioning of the sacrum. Maybe I need to bend my knees some days. So just kind of explore what feels most relaxing to you. If you feel like you're straining to bring the legs up to the sky, just find a little soft bend of the knees. Take a moment here just to breathe in that goodness and release out anything that's not serving you. And then when you're ready, go ahead and bend into the knees. Set the feet down. Maybe keep your sacrum there for just a moment. Maybe sway the knees side to side. That feels good. And then whenever you're ready, go ahead and release our sacrum, take the block away. We're going to get ourselves ready right for our Savasana. So go ahead and Take all that you need to make yourself the most comfortable you can be today, however that looks for you. For me, it's going to be my sweater and my bolster today. I'm going to take my bolster right underneath my knees. Savasana is a time just to bask in the glory of rest, from our work phase to our rest phase. And just taking this opportunity to slow the turnings of the mind, softening the heart space. Letting the body be cupped by the earth. Maybe you take away any desire to control the breath and just surrender to the space. And when you're ready, just start to take a couple of deep breaths to the nose, down to the belly. Just reminding ourselves of that life force of breath. Energizing, nourishing, emptying ourselves of anything that's not serving us. Start to create some movement of your hands and your toes. Inviting the room back into your awareness. And then whenever you're ready, we can just roll onto our favorite side and just take a moment of pause. It's that moment of silence. It's such a comforting position. Moment to transition from where we were to where we're going. And then at your own pace, we'll just take that top arm and start to slowly press ourselves up and just use the upper body gently to press yourself safely back into Sukhasana. Maybe just keep your eyes closed for an extra moment or two. Keeping that internal awareness really at the forefront of your attention. Meeting with our hands at heart center. And let's just take a moment to just start to rub the hands together. Kind of just creating that little bit of friction between the fingertips and the palms, that energy. And then go ahead and slow it down. You're just feeling the tips of the fingers resting upon each other. Feeling that connection, that balance. And gently bowing our head down towards our hands in recognition of the light that shines within us all. May your heart always stay warm. May your smile always stay broad. And may the light that shines in me honor and see the light that shines in you. Namaste. Thank you, thank you, thank you, ladies. As always, what a wonderful practice. I appreciate you so much. And as always, from my heart to yours, thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a wonderful day. Lots of love. Bye, everyone. There they are.